Well, hello there and welcome to the local woodlands. Quite a crisp, nice morning today. Just out for a wander. And well, I've come across my first image of the day here. So I'm in this it is a nature preserve. I've been a couple of times. If you watch my previous videos, I think I've done 2 videos thus far at this area. And well, there is an interesting intersection between the evergreens with the firs and the pine trees and those kind of trees, and then we have some kind of birch trees here. So I moved into this area and I found a nice little group of birch trees. My eye was drawn to this nice looking birch tree with kind of a nice little arch to it. There is some light on the top of the trees, but when I looked through my spot meter, I had like an EV values from about 2 stops. So quite a flat looking scene. So I'm hoping that the offset with colors will work here. So we do have these white grey birch trees against these greener trees in the background and around. So I hope that's enough to give it some contrast in the image. I'm shooting black and white as I usually do. So this is actually a new film I'm trying out. So it's Lomography Berlin, one of the Kino films. Nice little scene, careful composition, and just filling this square up with it. And then in the middle we have this small little tree in the middle, which looks quite nice and naked eye. However, it has a tendency to blend into the ground. It's about the same color as the ground, and as I said, no light. So one other thing I noticed here in this scene, we have this nice little bend, and then we have a quite nice looking tree to the right in the image as well. But just behind this tree with the bend, there is a couple of other birches. I'm quite careful about how I aligned it. So I have it in the middle, and then we have these birches going out from it in the background. This will be kind of soft as I am shooting this at f11. And if I have a look at my depth of field here on the lens, I can see that I will have a coverage from about 4 meters up until 20 meters. This is enough to keep my 2 main subjects and my supportive subject in focus, but then we start falling off, and those background trees will be a bit softer, I hope, and kind of just make a nice frame for my main subject there. That's my thinking, at least. If the contrast is enough, I think this will be quite a nice image. It might be a tad too flat. If I had some side light, I probably should have been here in the evening, because as I said, I have the light over at that side, so the evening it should be on that side. But yeah, nice first image, nice warm-up image. We'll continue, see if we can find anything else. So I moved like 10 meters, something like that. I had a look around this area because I found it quite interesting. There is, as I said before, this mix between the evergreen firs and these birch trees, and they work quite nice together. So I wander around, small little circle here, and I kind of noticed this tree here. This might actually be quite boring image. It's incredibly simple. So this tree dead center in the image. But then, as you can see, we have this dark woodlands behind it, this evergreen woodland with the fir trees, and I suppose there's some pine further in. So it's quite a thick, dense woodlands, and it kind of looked kind of spooky. We have this tree, and I love the kind of moss on the branches. I suppose it's a birch tree. And it has, like, in the bottom a nice white trunk at the bottom, and then going over to this moss and more grey. Incredibly flat once again, but the sun is on that side, and kind of poking through with the woodlands. I don't know if you can see that, we have kind of spark of sunlight in this dark woodlands. I think that will work like nice little sparks in the background. That's my idea at least. So I shot it quite wide open. Well, not quite wide open, so I stepped it down one stop, so it's at f4, and we are at 1/45, so just between 130 and 160 a second. Slightly overexposing this image actually with about a stop or something like that, just because it's incredibly dark, and I kind of want to protect some of the dark spots in the background. I kind of want separation between the trees there, and don't want to lose that in just shadow and blackness. I want it dark, but I will want to retain some details there, and as I said, it's quite flat, so I can raise the whole exposure, and if I need, I can lower it in post-production if I want to. But yeah, simple image. I didn't have to move too far from it. Man. Sorry about this, I have to work quite fast here. This is all dependent on the light. But yeah, I'm going to show you in a second. Excuse me. So the thing is, I kind of like this group of trees here, these birch trees here. Couldn't quite find a composition, but then I kind of moved closer to it, and I noticed there's kind of a beacon of light in the background, and I suppose in black and white I think this will be quite an interesting image. It's going to try and find the... I need to get higher. I love film photography, but man, sometimes I wish I stick with the digital stuff. There we go. Trying to frame that part, not that part. Okay. So I need to be about here. Where's my tree? Where's my tree? Where's my tree? That will be okay. F16. Fall off after 2 meters. Yeah, that works. Meter. I love my film photography. But yeah, please slide. Oh, slide. Removed. Mirror lock up. Half a second at F16. Here we go. Yeah, sorry about that. Let me do a better setup and I'll explain what's happening. Sorry for the frenetic pace there. I don't usually do that. I like slow, methodic photography. But sometimes you get excited, often by quite strange things actually. I usually don't get too excited about like light and nice sunset and that sort of things. I kind of try and relax and enjoy the moment. But I actually like this group of tree here on me. If I switch this side, you can see it a bit better. So you see we have like a couple of trees here. Kind of liked how it was structured. And I couldn't really find a nice way of framing it. So what I did to find it, I tried to move close and back off and try and find some new perspective when I like something. Exactly what I did here. But I then moved quite close and I noticed this tree here, and then we have another tree in the background. I thought, well, I could perhaps frame something up there. And I noticed in the background there's this group of other trees, and the sun is just behind it. And when photographing that in black and white, those trees turn almost completely black. There's quite a nice contrast there. It makes for quite a dramatic scene that I quite liked. And then we have this tree, two trees in the foreground that I spoke about. So moving quite close and framing up it, and white level finder. I love the white level finder, but getting high with the white level finder is a challenge. But I hope this turned out, even though the frantic pace. Measuring and well, I ended up shooting it at half a second at f16. F16 is just because I'm quite close to this tree to be able to get those two trees in focus. So depth of field, according to the lens currently, is not more than like from 1/3 of a meter up until just under 2 meters. So that's quite a small depth of field, and that's the thing with medium format cameras. Quite a shallow depth of field. I hope it turns out. I hope it turns out and pays off. So my last image was quite frantic. This is the opposite. I'm waiting for the light now. So this is the same group of trees actually here. I kind of wanted to photograph the whole whole group, so I kind of moved around and framed up it. So I have this rock here in the foreground, so I'm quite low with the camera. This mossy rock that works like a foreground element, and then we have that group of tree that has stood there before, and then we quite have a nice background. It's a quite lovely little scene. Kind of can wander on through it. It works quite well actually. But I want the light to highlight this rock in the foreground. And I think we will do that in a couple of minutes actually, because the light is going towards me, and I think if it rises just slightly more, it would look even better. Let's go for one safety image first. So I'm going to take 2 exposures of the scene actually. Well, it's going to be 4, I suppose. I'm going to need 2 exposures. That's just because I can't really get everything in focus. I want the rock and that group of tree in focus, and that's not possible with one shot, so I'm going to do a little blend afterwards. So f11, measure to 1/2 of a second, 1/3 of a second actually. So mirror lock up, first image on the rocks in the foreground. Here we go with that. And we are going to do 1 second exposure on that group of trees. Let's have a look actually. And there they are in focus. I'm going to take that image as well. Okay, the sun is hitting the trees now, giving them some shape, I hope. Yeah, we are going There we go. I think that will work nicely. I'm going to wait a bit longer for that tree in the the rock in the foreground. I think it's in focus there. Come on, give me some shape to that rock. Oh, start looking quite nice actually. There we actually have some light on that rock, so third exposure. And I hope we got it. Yeah, we are packing up. We are going back. Lovely little outing, but yeah, that's it for today. That's it. Today I didn't want to go out to photograph. Grey, gloomy, tired. But I did get out, and I feel like I got some energy from it. Always nice once I got out, and I was treated with some light. That's quite scarce in this time of the year. So this is the in-between time. So we left autumn behind us and we are moving into winter, but we're not quite there yet. So it's this gloomy, dark November. So today I woke quite late actually, at 7 o'clock. But the sun does rise at like 8. I took it quite easy and had my breakfast at home, some coffee, and took it easy and slow and got out and started exploring this area. I've been here quite a few times before, so this is my local area. And it's nice to have those local areas so you don't have to think about where I'm going to go today, what am I going to explore. Just having a couple of local spots, you know, okay, that's a nice area to be in and taking photograph in. And that's a legwork you have to do early in the year, I suppose. And I've done that. So this is the area. I've been there quite a few times. It's quite a large nature preserve, quite close to where I live, so half an hour drive. So perfect, and quite a nice woodland as well. And one benefit, let's have a small chat about local areas, because there's other benefits besides just being local. Some side benefits. One is you get to know the area quite well. So I know this area I'm at now is an intersection between a birch woodland and evergreen woodland, like pines and firs and those sort of trees, quite dark trees, and then you have this lighter birch trees. The contrast between those are interesting and well worth exploring, especially as I'm shooting black and white. So I've been here a couple of gloomy days, windy days, autumn days, and now quite nice sunny days. I'm waiting for the mist day though, but yeah, when you have that local area you visit multiple times, you will get good conditions down the road. With that said, I'm going to start heading back to my car. I'm actually changed into winter tires. There's a law in Sweden that you have to have winter tires on winter roads in the winter time after the 1st of December, I think it is. So I'm going to have those fitted to my car, and I do hope we are getting a proper winter this year. Some frost would be nice, some snow. Yeah, that would be nice. One can hope at least. In the area where I live, it probably just mostly will be grey and rainy, but I do look forward to some brisk morning with like that cold air. It is starting getting cold. I feel today was like one degree Celsius or something around there when I got there, and you can see smoke from my breath. It's a nice day to be out, and I'm glad I got out of the door. So local areas and just getting out of the door, great things to do. Thank you for watching, do take care, and until next time, bye.